Hello, and welcome to another Saturday food support group. We have these Zoom meetings every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I just invite people to come and to share their stories because I've had so many people reach out to me in private messages and tell me their stories. And I just couldn't keep it for myself. I had to share with you all of the beautiful things that are happening when people break their addiction to sugar and carbs and processed food. And they get their brains back, they get their bodies back, they get their lives back. And they're just so excited that they can't wait to tell. And so I informed everyone that I would be recording these meetings, and I encouraged them that if they wanted to remain anonymous, that they can turn the camera off. But a lot of people they want to share. They want to share what has happened to them, and they're so excited about their new life. And then I also open it up for questions. If people are still struggling and they're still on this journey, that they can come and ask questions. But if you need more individualized care than just in a group like this, feel free to email me at innerclaritysystem@gmail.com, and I'll walk you through what it looks like to work with me one-on-one. All right, thanks. I hope you enjoy the group. All right, good morning. We're going to start our Saturday food support group. I'm so grateful that you guys are still wanting to continue this conversation and talk about breaking our addiction to sugar and carbs, because I think it's such a worthy conversation, because it really brings so much healing to everybody. All right, so Angela, what would you like to add?
I just had a question about one of the ladies that was on a couple of weeks ago. I had actually messaged you about it. I don't know if you got a chance to ask her, like her length of time it took her to lose the weight. She had lost over 200 pounds, I believe it was, on the carnivore diet.
Yeah, I believe that was Terry. I'm not sure she's here today. And I believe I did reach out to her. And what I can do, because I think you said that you would like for me to interview her. Wasn't that you that suggested that?
I believe so.
That you wanted to hear more from Terry. So
Yeah.
let me reach out to Terry again and see if she would like to just do a Zoom with me, and I can record an interview with her. I think that would be great. That's a great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So how are you doing on this journey, Angela?
Honestly, not good. I'm basically going to try to start over tomorrow once again with the carnivore diet. So I haven't been sticking to it like I supposed to. So I'm kind of struggling, but I'm going to keep trying.
What are your obstacles that you come up against?
Well, one of my problems is I don't really I'm not a big person on cooking. I don't know, when I have a taste for something, I just go and just get it. So it's just it's easy.
Convenience.
I know it would be faster to cook something at home, but in my mind, it's I don't be really wanting to cook. So I just rather just go to a restaurant to get this and get that. And then my other downfall is sweets. I like a lot of chocolate. That's my big nemesis, chocolate and donuts and cakes and stuff. So along with juice and pop, but mainly sweets and eating out. So
absolutely. And it is so hard, especially at the beginning, because you're like, there's no way that this is ever going to let go of me. I'm completely paralyzed by this craving, by wanting this chocolate, this cookies, this whatever, this convenience, I'm never going to be good enough to be able to do this. But what I have found with many of the people that I have worked with is that you just go at it in baby steps. And I know that's annoying because at first you're like, I want results. I want to do this now. But we got in this situation over tons of years. Like for me personally, it was 40 years that I had been eating sugar and carbs and like copious amounts of sugar and carbs. And I was completely addicted. And so it took a long time for me to reverse that, like a ship. It takes a while for a ship to turn around. It doesn't just turn around like that. So what's maybe something that is a practical goal that you can have for tomorrow? Just for tomorrow, just one little goal.
I guess to make my food, to try to cook my food. When I do go off the rails, it's like once I do, I don't know, it's kind of like I'm kind of confused. It's like I'm an all or nothing person. Then I be feeling like I need to be able to partially be having something. Because I don't know how to really explain it. I tell my brain, okay, don't have nothing. And then when I do that, it's like my brain keeps saying, just eat, eat, eat. I don't know. I don't really know how to. I'm bad at it, trying to.
No, I've heard this. I've heard
it.
this over and over and over again. That what people are fighting is their mindset. Is their mind telling them, you need this or you need that. And what I found is that we have to become a team with our mind, because if our mind thinks we're going to starve it, it's going to be like a rebellious teenager and it's going to throw a tantrum. It's going to throw a fit and be like, no, screw you. I'm going to have this cookie because I'm an adult and I can have a cookie. But if you become a team with it and you're like, hey, we're working towards something here. Can you work with me? Can you come to a compromise with me? Then it seems to be that it works in a little bit easier way. And I like Emily just put bacon is always the answer in the chat. And it really is. I don't know if you have access to bacon, but what I've done in the past, because whenever I'm hungry, I don't want to sit in front of a pan and make bacon. I want it now. So what you can do is you can cook an entire pound of bacon ahead of time, put it in a plastic bag and just put it in your refrigerator. And then you have that immediate snack that you can run to at any point of the day. And for me personally, that's all I need is just something to put in my mouth that is animal meat and animal fat. And if you get that rule of thumb, then you're really not going to screw up. You can shove, all sorts of, meat and fat into those cravings. You can feed those cravings. You can feast on those cravings instead of feeling like you're deprived all the time.
Okay.
So, I would definitely suggest that you try to maybe cook up some bacon ahead of time or any kind of meal prep ahead of time, and then you'll have it.
Okay. Yeah, I have some bacon. I had some bacon the other day, and some chicken, and what else did I eat with the bacon? Some eggs and some steak, and the steak was actually pretty good. Because I'm not a good cook, so I was kind of surprised. The steak was actually kind of good, and the bacon was good. And I'm really not a big, huge person on bacon, but that day I was just eating up the bacon. But yeah, I ended up falling back off. It's like my man said, okay, I want something sweet. I got that taste, and it's like I just went and just get it because I feel like if I don't, then it's just gonna keep, on my brain, get it until I give in. So
yeah. And it's not about restriction. It's not about starving yourself. It's about feeding yourself the right things. In the comments here, Kim says, for me, 2 to 3 weeks, 100%, I think was what she means, carnivore. And I lose all taste for sweets and fast food. For carnivore, it worked for me. I need fat, fully untrimmed steak or pasture steak or raw butter. So I think it's important for us to find what works for us. And it sounds like also what might work for you is convenience. Like somebody else mentioned, McDonald's hamburger patties. If you're out and about, just go buy McDonald's and say, I just want the quarter pounder patty. And then you got a meal right there.
Okay. I've heard that before. I bought me some sour cream cheese, butter, bacon. So it's like I know what to do, but it's hard for me to stick to it. I've been following the carnivore diet a long time. Before that, the keto diet. So basically, I've been trying to lose weight since 2016. I've been a sugar addict since I was a kid. When I was like, 12, 13. I guess you could, this ain't nothing good to say, but I'm just be honest. I was stealing from grocery stores, I'm not bagging candy, but stealing from grocery stores, getting candy. And then at times I would, so all I wanted was the chocolate. So I was stealing, and then all the candy I didn't want to give to my siblings, all the chocolate I kept for myself. One time I stole, in my house, I kind of stole a whole thing of sugar. Them coffee sugar things you put for the coffee, you could just pour the sugar in it.
Yeah.
I really took that whole thing, hid it in my room, and would just literally eat sugar and just eat it. Frosting, I would take the whole frosting container, eat it with a spoon, and just eat it. So I've been like a sugar addict since a kid. And at the time, I was skinny. So now, as getting an adult, I was like, oh, okay, I can eat what I want. My foster mom can't tell me what to do, can't tell me what I can eat, how much I can eat. And I just kept getting bigger and bigger. And now I'm over 300 and something pounds. And so I need to lose 200 and something pounds. And it's hard. It's really hard. And I really want to stop this because I know it's not getting me, taking me in the right direction, So, but it's definitely hard.
It is. And I worked in, with people who've had different traumatic things happen in their childhood. And what I have found across the board is that there is a reason that you're eating this way. It is not your fault. You were in a traumatic situation as a child or at some point in your life, and your body is going to anything that brings it comfort to soothe that pain. And so it's important for us to know that this isn't your fault, that it isn't something that you can just magically go, oh, okay, I'm all better. I'm an adult now. I'm safe. I'm not in that traumatic situation. I don't need to steal. I don't need to fight for my life. I'm safe now, but our brain doesn't recognize that. Our brain still reacts as if when we were a child and we weren't safe. And so it goes to the quickest place of comfort, and that's sugar, and that's carbs. And so it's retraining your brain and rewiring that mindset to really believe and know that you are safe. And I know it sounds bizarre. I know I sound like crazy talking about sugar and, mental health, but it's so connected. It's so connected. And what I have found is that fat is the antidote. That as long as you can get enough animal meat and animal fat, I'm talking about like at the grocery store where they have those rotisserie chickens, where you can eat like the skin and the fat from those rotisserie chickens, chicken wings, ribs, any kind of like fatty meat. And it is like a Band-Aid to soothe your soul. It really comforts you in a way that hours and hours of therapy never could. And it really helps to, like I said, rewire that part of your brain that's just like totally overwhelmed and in panic mode. But I want to encourage you. Just the fact that you're here, Angela, is huge. Just the fact that you're trying is a big deal. And there is no way that you can stay here and stay trying and it not move the needle. and not help you in some way. But we're here, and we totally support you and totally see that this is not your fault. This is absolutely a natural consequence or a natural progression of trauma, and that it really does get better.
Well, thank you. Someone had asked, I don't know if I can answer the questions. Someone had asked about did my mom eat this way, or the way that I'm eating while she was pregnant with me. Honestly, I don't know. I know my mom was on drugs and stuff like that. I was born prematurely, so I had, a lot of health issues at birth. So that's all I know. And then I was in the foster care system and stuff like that as a kid. So I don't know if that has to do with it. Growing up, I really wasn't able to do much. I was kind of like just housebound, so I wasn't really allowed to go out besides school, go to school, come home. We didn't do vacations. I didn't really have friends and stuff like that. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but
that has everything to do with it. Everything. I think so many times we sit here and we beat ourselves up about, I can't do this and I can't do that, but it has everything to do with it, with the traumas that we endure. And then we think that we just are supposed to just absorb it and be okay. No, we have to address the fact that we have been traumatized, that we have been put in a situation that is against our nature as a human being. We want to be loved. We want to be taken care of. We want to be protected. And when that doesn't happen, that's whenever we go haywire and we turn to other means like, sugar and carbs. And a lot of people, alcohol, drugs, promiscuous sex, risky behaviors, adrenaline rushes, so there's so many different things that we're trying to do just to feed that pain. And so it totally makes sense that this is a problem, but it doesn't have to be the end of the story. There is hope for you. There is hope to break this addiction. Sydney, did you want to share? I know that you shared in the comments, but did you want to share with Angela anything about your story and how you've broken your addiction? I don't know how to.
Yes, there I am.
Okay, hi Sydney.
Okay, I'll share.
You want to share?
I'm a passive aggressive, so.
I wasn't going to call on you, but you mentioned it in the comments.
Fine. I feel comfortable with this group, and I love it. So, well, I was a sex slave as a child for 7 years, and I wasn't allowed to go in the refrigerator unless I did sexual favors. And I wasn't allowed to have candy. I know that's traumatic to hear for people, but it's the truth. And it has shaped my food addiction. And I would have to do sexual favors to go to Thrifties to get ice cream. And then, of course, on top of that, it would be stressful. So I would want to eat a lot more. And it's taken, 7 years times 5, to get over it and then some. And now I'm finally, and then to top it off, my mother's parents owned a candy store in the 60s. So the sugar has been in our family. And just talking about it, I'm drooling, okay? But my sexual abuse has gotten a lot better. I'm recovering, so don't worry. And now I know that food has a lot to do with my emotions. If I feel like I'm going to have a stressful day, I know I'm going to want to have something, and backing me up, so I did go to the cream, and I feel thinner today. I wasn't losing any weight, but I finally feel a little thinner today. And I didn't have any diet root beer after my bacon, which I normally crave it right away. So I've come a long ways in the 8 weeks. I told you, Emily, I had a 30-minute binge on a supersized Three Musketeers, a big piece of croissant stuffed with almond jelly, and then I had a big cinnamon roll, all in 25 minutes. So I know that little beast is there. I had to slap her around a little bit in a loving way. But yeah, I know that this program works, and I've been blessed to find Emily and gentleness. Know that, one step at a time, and do what you read, listen to your body. But if it tries to tell you you want something sweet, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to suffer a little. There is going to be suffering. There is. I cried for the first 3-4 weeks. I was bitchy too. God almighty.
She was mad.
And I cried.
She was mad at me. She was like, no.
I'm not mad at you.
Okay? I know.
And you just want to feed that monster in there. It's a love. It's you. It's not really a monster, but it's, an addiction to so much sugar. And, I used to steal candy and steal food and hide it, like a lot of all of us have. I think even if you haven't had sexual abuse, you can still be a hoarder of food, depending on what you went through. This foster system does not feed children enough. And you have to be, and they're not your real parents. So a lot of times they're not as loving. So they're not going to let you go in the refrigerator and be yourself. So you grow up with eating disorders, but you have to, eat a lot of food, eat as much eggs, bacon, meat, just shove it in there. Even if it doesn't feel that good, it doesn't really satisfy that tooth right away. You're going to have to find some soup, like I was telling you, Emily, a superhero in you, your favorite superhero. You got to find what you like. Do you like Batwoman? Do you like Spider-Man? Do you like Batman because his parents died and got shot in front of him? Can you relate to that? Or that movie where the sharks are chasing you in that sunken ship and you have to climb that one last little thing with 2 fingers? And, you just have to find it and will try. And now, one thing I learned, I don't want to take everybody's time. That's why I don't start talking. One thing I learned was that when you have that feeling in your head, you have to go, okay, this will pass. It feels like shit. It's horrible. My mouth, you're drooling, you're miserable. The best thing I can say is take a couple bites of butter. That helps some people. Take a couple bites of whipped cream that you make yourself. Kelly Hogan, I know a lot of people have heard of her, but she said it's okay to have a little cinnamon and put that in your cream with your coffee, whatever. And so anyway, that's kind of where I am. And that's doesn't mean I'm perfect, but that's, and you're not going to lose weight right away. Some aren't. Some do. I only have 60 pounds, but I used to have 100 pounds to lose. But, the less weight you have, I think it's a slower process. But yeah. I've heard a lot of people say, this isn't just about losing weight. This is about healing that inner child in you that has an eating disorder to feel loved. Okay. Thank you for letting me share. I'll shut up now.
Oh, wow. Go ahead, Angela.
No, I was telling her, thank you for sharing. But yeah, she was saying about the refrigerator, same thing. My foster mom, she ended up locking up the refrigerator at night, a straight lock so nobody wouldn't get in.
Yep.
Just crazy. But I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep trying until I get this. So...
You know why I don't want you to give up? Because you and Sydney and every child out there that's been abused are so worthy of feeling good.
Thank you.
I want you to feel good. I want you to know how it feels. You've been tortured your whole life. And now the best is yet to come. You don't have to continue to be tortured. You don't have to continue to be abused and to continue this cycle of abusing yourself, because that's what we learn if we're abused as children, is that we need to continue the abuse. We need to abuse ourselves. We need to continue to have that toxic cycle, but you don't have to. You can break that cycle. You're an adult now. You know, I've talked to Sydney, and she, you know, comes at it from a child's perspective. And I think that is so important, because we need to go back in and rescue that baby girl. We need to rescue that child and let her know that she's allowed to grow up and be healthy
Yes.
and be whole and be loved. You are so worthy of love, Angela. You are so worthy of loving yourself. And I know
Yes.
it sounds
I
backwards.
see her.
I do too. I know it sounds backwards to say that animal meat and animal fat is a cure for that, but it is, because it's just the first step to break through that addiction, to calm your mind, to remind yourself and your spirit and your soul that you are worthy of love, that you are worthy of a better future, of being whole, of being healthy. And I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful that you shared with us. And thank you, Sydney, so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. I think there are so many people that needed to hear this talk today. There are so many people out there who have suffered in their childhood, and they're still suffering now as adults. And nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about having to do sexual favors as a, 7-year-old for candy. Nobody talks about that. They just, oh, let's sweep that under the rug. Let's not talk about that. You know, oh, well, why are you an adult now and you have this sugar addiction? Oh, gee, I don't know. Maybe because I was completely traumatized as a child, and that I have this eating disorder now because of, you know, being restricted or being controlled as a kid. So it makes sense. It's a logical response that our brains go haywire and our brains go this extreme, but it doesn't have to be the end of the story. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Angela. And please keep us posted. Please keep meeting with us. And if there's anything I can do, feel free to reach out and send me a message.
Okay, will do. Like, once again, I always say thank you for having this meeting, because when you posted it on Facebook, I was excited, because you don't really find that anywhere where they have like open meetings like this. I even been to the regular in-person meeting, what you call them, anonymous something, Overeaters Anonymous.
Oh, yeah.
It's not in depth like this, you know? So.
Emily, can I chime in for just a minute?
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Audra.
Hey, Angela, I just want you to know that the fact that you're here, this means that you want to help your health. You want to do better. I'll be honest with you. I was a sugar addict. Growing up, we were given sugar. You know, oh, you were good. Here's a cupcake. Oh, you're good. Let's go in the store, pick out whatever candy you want. That was as a reward to us as kids growing up, basically. We were rewarded with sugar, okay? So it took me a long time. I just turned 54 last month, and it took me a long time to figure out how addicted to sugar I am. Some of the things that I can tell you are to stay on these meetings. There's another one called Meat Fam. It's MEATFAM. It's called Meat Fam, and that is on YouTube, and that is free also. You're welcome to friend me on YouTube, and I'll help you in any way I can. When I tell you that I was a sugar addict, we would go riding on the weekends, and I would get the 4-pack of the white chocolate Reese's. And this is what I would say to my friends: don't ask for one of my Reese's, because I'm about to eat all 4 of them, okay? If you want some, I'll even buy you a pack, and I will help you eat yours, but you ain't getting one of my 4. You know what I'm saying? Okay,
Yep.
well, when I'm trying to make you laugh a little, because it's been so sad, and I'm so sorry. But you know what? You can do this. We are all here for you. We will all support you in any way that we can, as far as just support. And that is the number one step, support. Community will help you. Go to all of these meetings that you can. Go on YouTube and watch Dr. Ken Berry, Berry. He is amazing. He has the most amazing videos. Constantly flood yourself with these videos, because what'll happen is it'll keep it in your mind. It'll become your mindset. Keep that bacon cooked on your kitchen counter. I make like 3 or 4 pounds of bacon a week, and I leave it on the counter. I don't have no white chocolate Reese's in my house. I don't have no Doritos. I don't have none of that bad stuff. I do go through the McDonald's drive-through sometimes, and I order 3 quarter-pounder patties, and I tell them I just want the patties. I pull up, I say I have an unusual order, and they're like, okay, and they listen, and I say I want 3 quarter-pounder patties, and that's all I want. They give them to you in this little container, and I eat them, and they're amazing. The more meat that you can eat, the sweet taste will go away. For every sweet taste that you put in your mouth, you're going to continue to activate your brain to crave it. Because as soon as it touches your tongue, you want more of it, like diet sodas, any kind of things of.
Oh,
Okay.
did we lose her? We lost her. All right. Wow, that was some good advice. What do you think, Angela?
Yeah, that was some good advice. I wanted to see what was her YouTube name.
Actually, I just messaged her your Instagram.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll message her Instagram to you.
Okay.
Let me do that right now, because I don't want to forget. Because I really think that it is important to know that there are other resources out there. I just sent it to you. And Meat Fam, I will message you. That is on Facebook. Are you on Facebook, Angela?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll message you on there. Anyway, you just go into Facebook and it's Meat Fam.
I wrote it down.
Okay. And they have the free meetings as well.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, we're going to support you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
No problem. Wow, what a great conversation. Thank you so much. So anybody have any victories that they want to talk about today, or any questions? Let me see here. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out this. Or any questions in the chat that I missed?
I was trying to figure out how to unmute my mic, but I couldn't find my hand. I couldn't find the hand.
Oh, it's under reactions, but we got you.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been pretty much zero carb for 3 years. And I think there is a time when you're doing an experiment to do it 100%, so that you can see whether or not the effects, whether it's not working. And then there's this time to continue to experiment once you have that way under your belt. And so during this 3 years, I tried 2 times to add dairy, and 10 pounds like that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and so I had not only a sugar addiction, but a cross addiction to probably casein, cheese, cheese, and definitely sugar, because I tried honey, because it has enzymes and antibacterial stuff. A jar would be half gone in 24 hours. Okay, but after 3 years, and my HbA1c went from 6.2 to 4.5. So I am no longer pre-diabetic. I should not be insulin resistant. And all of a sudden, I just got this hunch to try dairy again, and I started January 1st. I started with some goat cheese. Usually a pound of cheese will last 2 days, lasted the whole month.
Wow.
I ate a little tiny bit every day because I know the salt in it will.
But still, you ate a little tiny bit every day.
Didn't think about it. And I did it at the end of a meal as a little treat. So I'm not saying for those of you who need to get over the addiction, don't experiment yet. Do 100% meat and eggs and salt and fat. But I'm saying after 3 years, some switch seems to have flipped. Now we'll see. We'll see. Because this last week I got the honey, and usually honey can't last in my cupboard. My husband has to hide it if he wants honey. But I'm fine with a teaspoon. Oh, when I've added kefir, like 1 ounce, and I'm fine with a half a teaspoon of honey in the kefir. I'm not thinking about. I'm not like not even like a zombie going and getting more honey. I'm not like a zombie. Now, am I thinking a little bit more? Do I have a little bit more appetite? Carbs stimulate appetite. Yeah, but it's not too much. It's not too much. So I just wanted to. So there is a time when you listen to your body. The fat and the meat will help you eventually listen to your body. And I'm watching my weight every day, but we don't have to ideologically I know there are people that have just eaten meat for 10 years and it's working great for them. But I was getting a little bit like, I need a little bit more. I'm not all the way healed with everything. A lot of things have been spectacular, but so I just want to let you know, it may not be forever that you would have to just eat big hamburger patties and water.
Well, yeah, and to know that we can heal, is just, especially from addiction, to know that we can heal. And I think that it's really important to stay tethered to that baseline.
And I know I can always go back. And the thing is, I think I thought that the sugar addiction was simply insulin resistance. And lately, at the end of this last 3 years, I'm feeling like there's a healing in the tissues, where if your tissues are nourished, you can handle a little carbs. You can handle it, and it can be good for you. But you've got to heal really deeply, or that was my experience, or it's been my experience. Now, if something big emotional comes along and I'm like eating all the honey, then back to meat and steak and salt and water.
Absolutely.
So,
and it's so great to know that we can go back to that safe place.
right.
It's like base, like I can run around, but I can go back to base, because that's, where I know that my healing is, and that I can continue to do that. But it's so great to know that you can, like I said, have that goat cheese for a month and not have devoured it in 2 days or a day. That's amazing. That's a miracle. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Awesome. And Jules, I would love to hear what you have to say.
Hi everyone. First, I want to welcome Kayla. She mentioned that she saw my interview with
that's
Angels.
awesome.
So I appreciate you coming out and checking us out. That's awesome. Welcome. I just had a little update. Something I kind of realized, and a change I made in my way I was eating that's really helped me. When I started carnivore, it was in May, and I did it 3 months. I had about 3 failures during that 3 months, where I would just get super ravenous and hungry, and I would just eat, maybe a couple pints of ice cream or, a drink or whatever. And it was just, it just kept coming up. And then, I started, I have a history of 20 years or longer, actually, about 23 years of anorexia and bulimia. And so, my mind, even if I say I don't care or I don't care, my mind always starts to focus on my body, on my self-image, on how I look. And even though I was feeling great on carnivore, I was really liking it. Even when I was started, I was restricting. I wasn't eating enough butter. I was trying to do more lean protein. All these things because I was, in the back of my mind, I'm always obsessed with how I look. And it doesn't matter how I feel, what I look like is the most important thing. It's always there in the back of my mind. So in September, I started, trying to address my weight and say, no, even though I feel great, I need to really get serious now. I need to, figure this out and start to really work on it. And, with my history of anorexia and bulimia, the last thing I should have ever done was restrict. It really was dangerous for me. As soon as I started, the first 3 months of carnivore, I was just like on top of the world. I was feeling great. And the first time I started to have slight like tremors of emotional instability was when I started to restrict again.
Yep.
And I just got sicker and sicker, and I just felt terrible. And I would have days where I would just, I didn't understand it, but again, I slipped back into restriction. I wasn't really free of it. And I just started with a little bit saying, oh, I can handle this. I'm not going to go too far. And all of a sudden it started to snowball, and I restricted more and more and more. And I got to a point where I was just extremely stressed. I had given up cigarettes in September, and by the end of December, I was smoking again because I was so stressed out. My body was under enormous stress. I hadn't given it time to heal properly before I started, doing a calorie deficit or restricting again. And I just became like this mess. And so the beginning of January, I'm not doing well. I'm not feeling good. I'm under this enormous stress. My body is stressed. And, I said, I need to make a change. I can't, with my history, I cannot restrict. I cannot allow myself to do that. I have to feed myself and embrace everything. So a week into January, I stopped restricting. I said, I'm going to make a promise to myself. I'm going to love myself again. I'm going to feed myself when I'm hungry, and I'm going to eat until I'm full at every time I feel hunger. And I started that. And a week later, I felt so much better, so much better. Now, I had this extra energy that I hadn't had in months, right? Just like this amazing energy that was just like coming from everywhere. I was sleeping better. I was waking up. I didn't feel like cold or down or all these things that were really affecting me, psychologically and physically. And I started to eat more butter with every meal. I said, okay, you're going to eat a half a stick of butter with every meal if you're hungry, just to make sure you get enough fat. That way, if it's a ribeye or it's a lean, petite sirloin or hamburger, you're going to get enough fat with that meal. And I just started doing that. And it's made such a huge change. Like all this extra energy, that how I was feeling before, now I know how terrible it was, and how dangerous it was for me with my background to even try restricting. I never should have done that. I never should have, even considered it. But, again, I didn't really have anyone to warn me against that. Like no one said, well, you have a history of eating disorders. You should never restrict. You should focus on, feeding yourself. And I see this with so many other carnivores who, come from a place of eating disorders, and they start out great. They're feeling great. And little by little, they start reducing their plate, start eating less and less and less until they're eating one, ribeye a day, cut up into 3, and then they start losing hair. And they start, becoming emotionally unstable again and having, mental illness problems. And it's just this horrific cycle that happens when we restrict too much. It's really, there's benefits to some restrictions, intermittent fasting. There's definite benefits, but there's also dangers. And we have to, acknowledge that with people with a mental health and eating disorder background, that you have to respect those limits. You cannot do everything that everyone else does and just think, oh, I'll be fine because I'm carnivore. No, it didn't work for me. It doesn't work for a lot of other people. And so, now that I'm eating till I'm full, I have all this energy again. I've been going to the gym. The last 2 weeks, I went to the gym every day, 5 days a week.
Wow.
And I feel great. After I go to the gym, I feel so energized. I look forward to that breakfast. I eat a giant breakfast of meat, eggs, bacon, whatever I feel like cooking, and I just enjoy it. And then I usually don't eat at lunchtime because I'm not hungry after breakfast. And then I eat at dinner. As soon as I feel like I would like a bite of steak or just a piece, I eat a full meal. And that's what I've been doing for the last 3 weeks. And it's just been, for me, it's just changed everything. I thought I was doing well before, and I'm doing so much better now. And yeah, there was a little bit of puffiness around my face when I first started at the end of January, but now it's reducing. It was temporary. I of course, I increased my calorie amount by a lot, so my body had a reaction. But after a couple of weeks, it's mellowed out. It's starting to go down again. My clothes didn't get tighter. I was still able to wear the same clothes, and they're still fitting as loose as they were before when I was, severely calorie restricting. But I just feel so much better. And my mental health it was great before, but now it's just like amazing. I have all this energy to do stuff that, I couldn't have even, I was really just sitting on my couch, thinking of all the stuff I would do once I got better. And now I'm able to do it, without even feeling like I'm fully healed. But it's just supporting supporting our bodies with enough nutrients is so important when we're doing this. For anyone with, eating disorder or a mental health disorder background, it's super important. Never restrict. Eat as much as you can, as often as you feel like it, because this stuff is not going to make you sick. If it's meat, if it's butter, if it's eggs, unless you have, a problem with eggs, I mean, these things aren't going to hurt you. It's not like eating candy. Eating a big meal in carnivore is not the same as eating an entire pizza. It really isn't. And you don't have to feel guilty or bad about it afterwards. You can celebrate the fact that you just ate a big, plate of beef and butter. Like, embrace that and celebrate that. That's a huge accomplishment. And it's really just helped me the last couple of weeks. I just wanted to share that.
Absolutely. And whenever you really weigh it out and you're like, okay, I'm restricting, but I'm smoking. I'm restricting, but I'm snapping at my children. I'm restricting, but I feel horrible about myself. And I don't want to work out. I don't want to do anything. I have no energy. I have no clarity of thought to be productive. So what's the freaking point of restricting whenever you weigh all the things that come along with that? We are on this journey for the long term. We're not going to lose, all this weight right away. That's not the point. That's not why we're here. That's not how we got here. We got here because we are absolutely miserable and that we feel better eating animal meat and animal fat. I think that is so true. And Jules, I had a client just today who she said that she tried the protein modifying sparing,
yes.
whatever.
Yes.
And she was like, I felt horrible. I forgot how bad feels. She had felt so good eating this way for so long that she goes, I forgot how bad that feels. It's not worth it. She goes, I'll continue to just slowly lose my weight. I don't need to lose it fast. I will slowly lose my weight because I am not going to go back to that mindset and that mentality and that feeling.
That wasn't worth it for me.
No. And honestly, I feel like it's a crash course to, a breakdown.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I would rather stay on this pace slowly than to go fast into weight loss and hit a wall.
Yes.
And then where are you?
Yes,
then you're going to
exactly.
go back to the pizza, back to the ice cream, back to the everything. Slow and steady is the way to go.
And I didn't start carnivore for weight loss. I started it to heal. That was
Exactly. Thank you so much for sharing. I think that definitely needed to be said.
Thank you.
And Miss Claire. Hello. Oh, I can't hear you. You're on mute. I don't know how to unmute you.
Now
There you
it's
go.
okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, the same as Jules. He's right. We are here to heal. Everyone has different journey, and yes, well, weight loss is a point for someone. For me, it was weight gain. But anyway, with an eating disorder background, we cannot do anything. We just have to eat. Along the day, I know that during my worst time in the sickness, I spend my day waiting up to the night to allow myself to eat just a little bit. And now for me, like I'm starting my day and I'm having butter every single day. And not because it was before, like I needed a reward because I restricted well. So I wanted to be rewarded at the end of the day and rewarding myself by eating. Now, no, the only thing it matters is that I'm taking care of my health. So first thing of the morning, I practice gratitude. I look at the sunshine, and then I go and eat. And my health is my priority. It doesn't matter if I fast, if I don't fast. No, I don't fast. Why? Because I need to be healthy. And to be healthy is eating a lot of nutrients. And sometimes I'm eating lean cuts, like I love liver, so I'm eating liver, beef liver. It's really lean, but I make sure that I have enough fat, and I have enough fat on the breakfast. I have enough fat at lunch. If I need a snack, I have a snack. If I don't need a snack, I have a snack because I still need to gain weight. So I'm pushing myself a bit. And at dinner, I'm eating. People are saying you don't have to eat after 5 p.m. for your circadian rhythm and everything. No, you're hungry after 5 p.m. Eat. Hungry. Usually I'm hungry about around 10 p.m. I don't mind. I go and eat. I'm hungry, I eat. And so, yeah, just with any background of eating disorder, just give you all the nutrients you need anytime you need. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meals a day. It doesn't matter. The only thing is to
Absolutely.
everything for your brain.
Yeah. And I think that that's really important too, is to recognize that our brains are healing,
Yeah. And we need to continue saying that the brain is 70% fat. So to heal the brain, we need to keep in mind that we need fat. And when you do like the very high protein diet, you don't have enough fat. Yes, protein is great, but you can have lots of protein and lots of fat at the same time. It doesn't matter. Just eat fatty and meaty, and that's all you need.
Absolutely.
And the weight will be the cherry on the cake.
There we go.
That's it. But the health is the priority.
Exactly. And that's what's going to be the vehicle to our health.
Yeah.
You know, if we have that stability emotionally and mentally and spiritually, then we're going to get there eventually.
Yeah.
You know, but if we don't have that health, then we're not going to be able to get to that.
Yeah. And one of my friends, she's doing carnivore for health, but she still have on mind to lose some weight at some point. And for some days she tried lean days, then high fat days, like the 2 days lean, 1 day full of fat. And she told me, Claire, it's crazy. On the lean day, I'm so angry with my husband. I don't want to go and see my friends. And my mood is so different when I'm eating fatty meat or when I'm eating lean meat. And she stopped it. And she said, it will take more time, but it doesn't matter. the main thing is to have stability. And that's really, really important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. I think that's such a good point, and a great way to wrap up this meeting. Thank you so much for everybody that shared. Oh my goodness, this is just every week just amazes me more and more. I love this space. I love this meeting, and I'm going to just keep having these meetings every Saturday. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed the group. There is always so much beauty in being transparent and in really recognizing that we're all not alone on this journey. And so if you want to, feel free to join the Saturday support groups. They're every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And if you need more individualized care, then reach out to me and email me at innerclaritysystem@gmail.com. And I would love to walk through and show you what it looks like to work with me one-on-one. All right, thanks. Take care.